Do you hear me? Okay, I hope everybody listen to me. Okay. We stopped here. The next step in management is connected with the fact that in management, as in a science, it was began to use the approaches of psychology. And why it was so late? Because people, specialists in psychology, were rarely interested in management, and vice versa. The scientists in management rarely interested in psychology. And the first breakthrough in management connected with psychology was made by Elton Mayo. He found very interesting fact that increasing the payment not always lead to improving productivity. This man, Elton Mayo, he was the first to be a specialist in management and psychology, and he was invited to solve very interesting problem. In one company, in one textile company in Philadelphia, it was a very unpleasant situation that turnover in spinning department had reached 250%. And in other shops of the company, the labor turnover was at the rate somewhere between 5 and 6%. Generally, the turnover is bad for a company because we have to prepare more and more stuff. But it is always more than zero, because somebody is moving from one region to another region. If speaking about ladies can become pregnant. Somebody maybe dies. So anyway, we have to invite new people to our company. But if it is somewhere 2, 3, 5, 6%, it's completely okay. But when it was 250%, it was really awful. And what was the problem? The problem was that in this shop я хочу вам нагадати, що shop слово також означає не тільки магазин, але й цех. So they tried to solve this problem with the help of increasing salary, but nothing happened. And Elton Mayo found that the problem was that we are social, all people are social animals, we want to communicate, and it was very noisy. And people cannot communicate with these other people. And he provided the following way to solve this situation. Uh, uh, to introduce 2 10 minutes periods for spinners, and it was like miracle. People became stop firing from the company, and the staff became stable. And generally, the indirect evidence or provement of this positive effect was the fact that later then another supervisor decided to delete these two breaks, the situation comes back to the earlier state. So it was the first situation then in management. People used, or managers used, non-financial incentives. Because before this, managers and scientists in the field of management, they thought that we just have to pay fair payment and that's all. Everybody will work for our company. So Elton Mayo was the first to combine psychology and management. There were a lot of scientists in the field, and we will discuss it when we discuss the modern theories of motivating. So the main contribution was of this school was to mix uh, management and other social sciences. And the last uh, step in management was connected with management science school. This school says that management is not only like blah blah blah. We have to use models, symbols, approaches, etc. And we have to calculate the economic efficiency of every managerial decision. Now we are beginning to discuss the approaches to management. So we can say that these schools are like steps of modern management, of history of management, and approaches of management are like the points of view at management. And please look at this picture that arcs are going to the present time. It means that a manager should use all these approaches. So the first is process approaches to management. Українською мовою це буде процесний підхід до менеджменту. This approach says that a manager must use all the function of management. Planning, organizing, motivating and controlling. And all these functions are interrelated and interdependent. And what is more important, that we have to look at management not like at one-time act, that we create strategy and that's all. But it is a process, it's ongoing series of interrelated activities. So we must have a managerial cycle. At the stage of planning, we have to create the strategy of our company. We have to define the current situation of the company. We have to create, we have to understand where do we want to go, our situation in future, and we have to create a plan, and we call this plan as a strategy, how we want to do it. And during organizing during our course we will speak in details about different stages of planning function. Then we have to create the organizational structure of our company, and one of the tasks will be connected with organizational structure of your company. Then we have to find an appropriate incentive for every subordinate. So we have to use motivating function. And finally, we have to use the controlling function. We have to check the results. And what is very important, that please look at this picture, it is very important that we have ongoing series of function. So at the stage, so here we are creating the strategy, here we are creating the organizational structure, here we are creating the set of incentives at the stage of motivating, and here we are checking the results. Something, for example, is wrong. So we, at the stage of controlling, we understand that we haven't attained some result. What does it mean? It means, firstly, it can mean, firstly, that our strategy, our objectives were initially unattainable. So we had some problems in strategy. In this situation, we have to recraft our strategy. Or maybe we had a good strategy, but we had some problems with organizational structure or with incentives. So we have to change or either organizational structure or incentives for our subordinates. But sometimes it could be the situation that everything was attained. But in this very case, and it's quite important to keep it in mind, that we have to change our strategy, because the external environment is changing every moment, every minute, every second, every day. So we have to adopt our strategy to the changes in the external environment. And if we have to change our strategy, thereafter we have to change organizational structure, and we have to change the incentives. So we can say that the process of management is never-ending process. It is the main idea of process approach to management. To link all the functions, we are using two linking processes, decision-making and communicating processes. The next approach is the system approach. The system approach says that any organization is a system, and generally there are two types of systems: closed system and open system. And open system is a system which has some connections, interrelations with external environment. And all organizations are the open systems, because we need some resources. Maybe from our previous course you remember that it could be a situation that there are some companies with high rate of vertical integration, but anyway we have to sell our products to somebody. So we are not producing products only for our organization. So we need some customers. So thereafter we have to say that any organization is an open system organization. Is an open system, sorry. And the last approach, contingency approach. Українською це перекладається як ситуаційний підхід. Contingency approach says that there is no best technique, but a manager should be familiar with all the techniques, and the manager should use an appropriate technique for this very situation. This is the main idea of the contingency approach. So one more time, the manager must become familiar with all the tools of management. So all the techniques has also pro and contras, has advantages and disadvantages, and a manager should analyze the external environment, and a manager should choose the best technique for this very situation. And let's come back to the target of our course. From our previous course, we spoke about the diversified company, so the target was creating the strategy for a diversified company. During this course, we are coming level low, and we are creating a business strategy, a strategy for a non-diversified company or for one strategical business unit of a diversified company. So what you have to do? You have to select a company. It is better if I think it will be more interesting for you if you choose a company where you working at. It will be interesting for you to look at your company maybe from a different point of view. And let's come back. And during the course, you will try to use all functions of management. I'm coming back to our table. Just a moment. So actually you can see that I also uploaded the first lecture to our table. During the first tasks, you will have to analyze the external environment of the company. When you will create the mission statement for your company. Then you will create the objectives. When you will conduct the competitiveness analysis of your company, and when you will choose the type of the strategy. These first 5 tasks are connected with planning function, and when it will be 3 tasks connected with other functions of management. You will try to use the best organizational structure for your company. You will try to mix features, characteristics of different types of structure, and then you will have to use one of motivating theory for some worker of your organization, maybe for yourself if you wish. And then it will be also very important to build the feedback system for your company. So it's quite important building the feedback system. So you will try to explain how to build the feedback system for your company. How we are working once again. So today actually we have practice, but we have lecture only because it is our first meeting. So in during the next month, it will be lecture connected with types of analysis, and in a week it will be the first task for you to create, to conduct the SWOT analysis. The tasks will be rather small, like it was in our previous course. Please don't be afraid. It will be about half of a page, not more, believe me, not more than half of a page. I respect that you will not have enough time maybe for homework, for home tasks, so it will be only small tasks, but actually it will be not possible for you to understand some parts of management without doing something by your hands, believe me. So generally the logic and the way of delivering of the course will be completely the same as the previous one. So we are discussing some instruments, and when you have to use these very instrument for your company, and it should be, all the tasks should be connected with one company, So I expect that the task is to be sent during the weekend, but actually I see that I think that we will have a lot time for speaking, even if you bring your task to the practice, and I will have time to read this half of page, and then we will discuss everything. And the same situation will be with grades. So if the task is okay, so you will have the maximum grade, and if something is wrong, we will discuss it. Maybe I will add something, I will ask you to add something, and it will be possible for you to increase your grade. Now I finished with the information, and now I'm listening to your questions, dear students. No questions. Okay, thanks a lot for coming. Actually, I'm stopping the recording. Dear students,